and welcome. Anyone who's been to Merchant City Yoga on a Sunday knows how much I love catching up with everyone over a cup of my freshly brewed spiced chai. These Sunday chai sessions really bring everyone together. A true celebration of friendship, community and connection. And as these COVID restrictions continue, I want to try and capture some of that magic and share it with you at home. So I've invited some familiar faces from our MCY family to chat with me online over a cuppa. I'm affectionately calling them the chai sessions. Pop the kettle on, get yourself comfy and come and join us. Oh, and I realised after my chat with Patricia, I should probably have introduced her first. So today I'm chatting with Patricia, who teaches integrated Hatha Yoga and mindfulness meditation classes here at the studio. Now, when I first started yoga, the classes I went to were Hatha Yoga, but it seems to me now that Hatha Yoga has fallen a little bit out of fashion. But Patricia is passionate that the long-established practices of the Hatha tradition are relevant and effective, even for the most modern yoga students. So like I say, my idea here was to have a little bit of a chat about you and find out a little bit more about your yoga. What brought you to yoga, how your practice has grown and developed, because, I know when we first met, you came to Ashtanga classes here at MCY, and you've kind of migrated from Ashtanga into your current practice of Hatha Yoga. So maybe you could just tell us a little bit more about what happened there.
Yeah. So I started to practice Hatha in Spain. So I practiced that for a few years before I joined your class of Ashtanga. And then when I joined the class, I just loved it, and I started to practice Ashtanga. And that's my normal practice is Ashtanga. But what I have found is like practicing Hatha at least once per day, per week has given me, have improved a lot my practice in general, and allows me to explore the asanas in a different way and have more awareness of my body and my mind. But I'm still practicing Ashtanga daily. Yeah.
So, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about your Hatha Yoga practice, because it seems to me that Hatha, because I started with Hatha Yoga as well before I found Ashtanga. I was doing that for a good number of years before I came to the Ashtanga practice. But it seems to me that maybe Hatha has gone a little bit out of fashion, and that a lot of people coming to yoga now maybe don't know what it is and haven't really heard much about it. Given the explosion of the stronger styles, maybe like, Vinyasa flow, Ashtanga power, and also the sort of the counter, the yin yoga, which seems to be just everywhere just now. So maybe tell us a little bit more about Hatha Yoga, the Hatha practice.
Yes. So so what I found is the Hatha includes everything, really, includes all the styles. So what allows me in a Hatha class as a practitioner and as a teacher is to approach the asanas in a different way and to stop and really explore it in a different way. And that gives me pieces of information later on for my formal practice. But also in a Hatha class, you have the opportunity to explore meditation and yoga nidra and other limbs of yoga, and that for me is very important, because it's not just for me, for my own practice, it's not just the asana practice. Asana is just one limb, that's it. And then there are other limbs that I found I cannot reach properly if I use the same technique all the time. And so in a Hatha class allows you to really explore in a different way. And that gives you more information about your own body, about your possibilities, your range of motions, and how you can include meditation in your practice, more awareness in your practice. So all these things you get from a hatha class. Yeah.
And so anyone interested in joining the Hatha class, what would they expect to find in class? What would they expect? You know, what kind of shape does the class take? What would they expect to be up to?
Yeah, so that's the thing. In a hatha class, it can be different every time. Okay, so something we do some like warm up, of course, strengthening, stretching, and but then the asana exploration is different every time. So sometimes we can even use poses from the Ashtanga primary and intermediate series, but we maybe approach it in a Iyengar style. Or maybe some days we stop in each asana more like a yin style. Or we do sometimes more a vinyasa flow as well. Or sometimes I just put everything upside down and I have people exploring more in a James Bond style with anti-gravitatory movements, and that gives people the opportunity, as I said, to explore their movements in a different way. And then maybe in 3 different sessions, they have tried the same postures in a Ashtanga approach, with Iyengar approach, anti-gravitatory approach. Um, and then in every class, we do meditation as well. Sometimes we do like a short meditation, yoga nidra always, and pranayama as well. I like to introduce pranayama. So they have, a little bit of everything. They can taste a little bit of everything and see how they can integrate all in one single practice of 1 hour and 15 minutes. And that's what they can expect. Yeah.
You know, and how about students who are maybe a little bit nervous because they might be working with an injury or some, just be struggling with something that may well have an impact on their ability to do the physical postures? How would they go on in your class?
I'm a certified integrated restorative yoga teacher. I introduce that knowledge in my general classes as well at the yoga. So I know when someone it comes to the class with low back pain, there are some postures that they shouldn't do, and then I have the knowledge to be able to modify the whole class sometimes, so that I avoid the postures that one person cannot do, but in a way that the other ones also benefit from it. And that gives me the opportunity to really tailor-make the classes for the participants who show up in the class, and without being exclusive or doing modifications, but sometimes I just change the whole lesson plan and say, okay, this person, for example, some people come with asthma, and then I focus on that class on poses with that increase the lungs capacity and opening the chest, and everyone gets benefit from that class, and there is no, and it's very inclusive. So that's what I do, and it works very well. Yeah.
Yeah, so very reassuring, I think, and very welcoming. A good level of class for people who are struggling maybe a little bit. How have you found, I mean, obviously, just now we're online. I know myself, I was really reluctant and really hesitant to take classes online. So how have you found teaching online? Is there anything you're having to do differently to meet the students where they're at online?
Yeah, the main thing normally when I'm in the class, I give more verbal instructions. You have the possibility to do more verbal instructions, and in the online, I need to demonstrate more. So I demonstrate more, and but I just make sure that everyone gets it. And so it's slightly different, obviously, because you don't get the feedback that you get in a class. But we need to be grateful for Zoom. And I ask people to really put the camera so that I can really see them. So that's important, mainly with people with back pain, or if people have some disorders, let's say. It's important that I can see them online. Um, but other than that, I also felt a bit reluctant at the beginning with the online. But I think we are all getting better. We are getting more confident, and if we need to say someone, to please move the camera, I cannot see you, then we have the confidence to do it. And I think the students are getting more confident as well. So we're all getting used to these tools, and I think this is, yeah, we need to adapt, right? I mean, what else can we do? It's just,
Yeah, definitely everything is figure outable, and definitely the students are getting a little bit better as well, and a little bit more confident about coming to class online, and a little bit maybe more confident that we still have something to offer, that it's still something valuable to do as well.
yeah.
But what you were talking about there leads us nicely on to the course that you're offering with the integrative yoga approach. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about that, about why you think it's important?
Yeah, so it's important for people with those disorders, obviously, because they will learn how to have a really integrated practice in a very safe way. But also for teachers, because that's what is helping me in my normal classes, my Hatha classes, to really identify what people can do and cannot do, and do the modifications accordingly, change the lesson plan, in one moment, just to adapt it to whoever is in the class. So, and is backed up with scientific evidence. So, and it's a practice that has been, practicing in India for many, many years, and with really good results. And it gives you that knowledge to be able to adapt the class accordingly. And there are many things that, and once you know it, it's very straightforward. Okay, you know that people with respiratory disorders cannot do and they should do this in this way or in this way. And this gives you a lot of skills as a teacher to be able to adapt any class you teach later on. Um, so yeah.
And so from what you're saying then, this isn't a separate practice. This isn't something that people are going to have to do separately from their regular yoga practice. It's something that can be incorporated and can even inform their regular yoga practice so that they're getting more out of it. Would that be accurate?
Yes. If people with, for example, one of the sessions would be disc prolapse. If someone with disc prolapse do that session, that would be specific for that kind of thing. But then, as a yoga teacher or yoga practitioner, everything you learn there, you can then use it on your own practice and when you teach. Because if you sometimes have low back pain, for example, that we all have now and then, there are some poses like warriors that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't do them. You should skip them, for example, until you don't have pain, so, as an example. And if you know that, that will benefit your own practice, and that will benefit your students when you teach them. And that applies for cardiovascular disorders, for respiratory disorders, for all the things that we will be exploring in the course. Yeah.
Can you maybe tell us a little bit more then about your training, the training that you underwent to bring you to the place where you can now offer this integrative yoga training for others?
Yes. So I did teacher training, 300 hours in India. And in 1 month, it was like intensive training where we wake up at 4:45 and, and then we had practices all the way through the day until 9 p.m. And that was on for 4 full weeks. So it was an intense practice, but the purpose was to experience in yourself what is it to have a yogi life and put all these practices together so that you experience the integrated restorative practice in yourself. And it was really, really good. It was really, it was really incredible, actually. And it was, we practiced everything. And it's very difficult to explain that big in just a few sentences. I struggle with that.
I mean, it certainly takes dedication and commitment to train in that format, in that way. So tell us, what was the most challenging thing about 4 intense weeks in India training? What was the most challenging thing for you?
The more challenging thing, I think, was the silence, because one of we have to, there was a conduct, how do you say that in English? Code of conduct we have to maintain. And one of the things, the main things, was silence during the whole month. Okay, so we couldn't talk, only in the classes, in the asana classes, if we really needed to ask something. and where we were practicing to teach, but it was very intense, and it was kind of a meditative. You needed to enter into a meditative state the whole month, and with all these cleansing practices as well. There were some of them were very challenging too. The sat karmas, we're not getting into that now.
No, that's another chat for another day, Patricia.
Yes.
So what was the most surprising thing for you in your training? Was there anything that surprised you? Maybe in a good way?
Well, yes, in a good way, very good ways. Apart from this, it's a hard training, because, as I said, you wake up 4:45, shat karmas first thing in the morning, silence, 3 hours of asana practice every day, 3 hours. And a very basic yogic lifestyle, sharing a room with 25 people, no bath, you have to clean your own clothes. When you were completely exhausted in your half an hour of rest per day, you have to clean your clothes and see what, you find happiness. In all that, you find happiness. You find that you can really reach that state of really being content with everything, even in the most basic lifestyle. And that was very surprising. And I realized how much I attached to things. Well, when I came back, I almost bowed to the washing machine, like, oh God, thank you for your service, And so you start to appreciate much more, everything much more. And that was very surprising, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a fantastic experience, and I'm really excited that you're here to share all of your experience. I think we'll maybe wrap up now, but one thing I was wondering, was maybe your favourite book or podcast or yoga resource. Like, you know, when you're chatting to somebody and you want to say, all right, you've got to read or you've got to check out this, what would you suggest?
I would suggest Bringing Yoga to Life from Donna Farr. Yeah, one of my favorite books, yoga books. If
Oh,
I have to recommend, I have more. I love that book.
yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? I recommend it to everybody as well. So if you had to recommend a couple more, you said there that there's more, maybe another one or two more, what kind of pops into your head?
Yeah, The Mirror of Yoga. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I talk about that to everybody too. Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
two top books.
Yes.
Before we do wrap up, is there anything else that you want to say or you want to share?
I just would like to say people that they give it a try to Hatha Yoga, because I think people don't know what is it really, and if you don't try, you never know. Even if you are, you follow another tradition, it's nice to explore other approaches. This is something I have learned from uh, studying with different local and international teachers from all kind of approaches and styles. It's something that it really has benefited my own journey. It still does. So I would say to people who just give it a try, because then you later on can keep going with your own thing, but at least try something new now and then.
Yeah, that's the thing,
Yeah.
isn't it? Really, you don't know until you experience it yourself. You know, somebody can tell you about something, you can read about it, you can watch videos about it, but really until you step in and try it out yourself, you just don't know. You just don't know what you're
Yeah.
missing. Don't know what you're missing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Patricia, thank you so much for taking
Thank you.
the
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our chat. If you've got any questions, you can email me or find us on social media. And until we can return to our Sunday chai sessions in the studio, I'll see you here next time.